What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have to do a pretty long run, 2 hours, but it's about -20 with wind chill. The winds are about like 40 kilometers per hour right now, so I'm actually really dreading it. So I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to show you guys how I dress up for running in the winter. But before we get into that, if you're new, my name is Calin and I'm training to complete an Ironman by 2021. So please subscribe if you're new. All right, let's get right into it. So I think the most fundamental idea that you need for running or just doing any sport in the winter is the idea of layering. So in general, there's 2 key layers that you usually want. One is a base layer, which will wick the sweat off of your body to keep you warm. And the second is a wind layer so that the wind doesn't basically freeze your sweat. Everything between your wind and base layer is basically just for added warmth. And so you can use this principle for 0-degree weather up to -40-degree weather, or maybe even colder. So first things first, we start with a base layer to wick that sweat off your skin. I actually have a base layer for my upper body and a base layer for my lower body today. So here they are. They're both mostly polyester, and polyester is pretty good at wicking sweat off of your body. So like I said before, anything between your base and wind layer is just for added warmth. So depending on how cold it is, I'll add a layer or 2, basically just to insulate and keep me warm. Today, since it's -20, I actually have one of these layers for my upper and lower body. And so I have a fleece for my upper body, and then these Adidas trainer pants for my lower body. If it was a bit warmer, I'd actually forego this middle warmth layer. But if it was colder, I'd probably add another one or another 2. But I try to avoid getting too bulky because that's just uncomfortable and you'll look like the Michelin Man out there. So the last layer that you usually want to put on is a wind layer. And the reason for this is you want to block the wind out so that it doesn't chill your sweat. So what I have is basically a wind jacket, and it's basically made of this material that's harder and doesn't really let any air or water through. Now for extremities, because those are probably the ones that are going to be bothering you the most during your run. So starting with the basics, you have your socks, your hat, and your gloves. So starting with gloves, if it's warm outside, I'll actually start with fingered gloves so I have full mobility of my fingers. And then as it starts getting colder, I'll move on to mittens so that my fingers start to keep each other warm. And then if it gets really, really cold, I'll move on to full-on winter gloves. So for hats, I usually don't have much of a progression. I just wear a hat, but if it gets super cold and windy, and the key is windy here, I'll wear a balaclava, which is basically like a ski mask or a face mask, and it'll keep my face warm. Now for socks. So I actually struggle quite a bit with cold feet doing activities outside. So I've learned a few tricks to keep my feet warm. The first being super simple, and that is to double up on your socks. And so I usually have a short pair and then a long pair. Now for a trick that I learned to keep my feet warm when I used to play football in like -30-degree weather. The trick is to put a plastic bag between your 2 socks, and this will keep your feet warm for the entire duration that you're outside. Yes, it sounds pretty weird, and it'll probably feel pretty weird in the beginning, but if you struggle with cold feet like me, it'll be super easy to get over that weird feeling for the warm feet. All right, guys, I'm gonna get dressed up for my run, and I'll show you guys what I look like after. So I just found these goggles in the closet and I'm seriously considering bringing them on this run. All right, guys, just cutting into this video to update you guys. I just finished the run. I'll put the stats right here, and I actually did end up taking these goggles and they were a godsend. I swear to God, I am going to take them on all of my windy runs from now on. Anyways, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. And oh, by the way, I felt perfect. I did not feel cold or warm. I basically wore the perfect amount of layers, and basically you'll find that It takes practice knowing how many layers you need to stay warm, but you'll get it. So I'll continue with my outro. Oh my goodness. All right, well, this is the end of this video. I hope you guys found some value from watching it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week for another video.